Episode 9 is set to include many different twists and turns as well as surprises by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I will say that I'm truly excited to see in this movie is, of course, exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to do that will change our perception of the entire Skywalker saga and everything related to the Star Wars franchise. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the set designs that involves Mark Hamill and some of the crew that will provide one of the biggest scenes in this movie. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing is that one of the set designs, it's described that Mark Hamill shot a sequence in which he was surrounded by a 360-degree green screen, with cameras spinning around him. It's described that Hamill was being lifted by wires to emulate that he is levitating. It's described to be a moment in the film that will change fans' perception on the concept of the Force. Additionally, the visuals to be added into the green screens are described as visuals similar to when a ship initiates hyperspace. It's described to be a moment in which fans will get to see the netherworld of the Force and what a Force ghost experiences once it leaves the mortal world. It's described to be one of the biggest scenes in Star Wars history that required many rehearsals as well as intense visual effects that will bring things to the next level. Additionally, Hamill was said to have no beard for the scene and was in ceremonial robes of sorts for the sequence. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we heard about this lightly, I would say, give or take about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago. And a lot of people were starting to wonder exactly how is J.J. Abrams going to pull off something so extreme as this, where we get to see the netherworld of the Force in full effect in Episode 9. Now, this is one aspect of Star Wars that remains very mysterious, at least on the big screen, right? We saw somewhat of an example of this in the Darth Vader comic when Darth Vader enters the spiritual realm. That's more around the lines of, related to the dark side. But in this scenario, this version of the netherworld of the Force is connected to light side Force users. So Luke Skywalker, this is most likely going to be his final exit from the mortal world, as we do get to see him enter into the netherworld once more, and we get to see exactly what a Force ghost gets to experience when it actually pretty much detaches itself from the mortal world. The world, of course, that includes the actual galaxy and, living beings on the planets and whatnot, right? So I think that's going to be one of the big revelations in this movie, and something that J.J. Abrams is really going to get right. Again, like I say, this sounds like something that J.J. Abrams would really do in a Star Wars film. If you look at all the different TV shows and the movies that he's been attached to, he does everything that's related to time travel, flashbacks, flash forwards, different dimensions, stuff like that. That's what he loves to do, and it's exactly why he threw in flashbacks in The Force Awakens. So, the first thing that I do want to go over that does pique my interest for this sequence is how the visuals that are to replace the green screen are described as being very similar to when an actual ship initiates hyperspace. So basically, what that says, it's going to be like stretched stars as Luke Skywalker is entering the netherworld of the Force, kind of like what you see when they go into hyperspace just before the ship disappears, when the stars are actually stretching. So the visuals are very similar in that sense. That was created around Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill did not have the beard for the sequence, which is really piquing a lot of questions here on maybe the Force Ghost version of Luke actually will indeed appear younger. Now, there's no mention of him using de-aging technology. De-aging technology has not been applied to the sequence for Mark Hamill. However, what really does intrigue me is how he was being lifted by wirework to emulate that he's levitating. So, to this day, we've never seen a Force Ghost necessarily levitate as if it's like floating in mid-air. So is that something that J.J. Abrams is trying to do, or is this Luke already in the netherworld of the Force and showing us exactly what that side of the entire Star Wars universe is going to look like in this movie? Again, guys, this is very ambitious of JJ, something that I think is going to be very hard to pull off correctly. So a lot of time and effort absolutely is going into this when it comes to, of course, the acting, the rehearsals, the visual effects, the editing, of course, the sound editing, everything that's going to go into this sequence really does need special attention and care in order for it to really be executed well on the big screen and not appear cheesy. So with that being said, I think that this is something that a lot of fans are going to enjoy. I think it's something that fans are really going to pretty much not expect to see. You know, will catch us off guard when it comes to the visuals. Again, I can't necessarily believe how, you know, JJ's going to be able to do this whole entire sequence. I mean, it sounds like a huge task, something very difficult, but they got from now on until December to do post-production work, so they're probably going to focus a lot of time and effort on that specific sequence in episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.